Hey guys, this is Sean Mock from the Bass College. Today we're going to go over getting the most out of your crankbaits. This is going to be a two-part series, with today being the first part. We're going to go over the inspection of your crankbaits. Alright, they say that out of 4 crankbaits, alright, one is absolutely not going to work. You'll never catch a fish on it. That 2 will be about average and only 1 will excel. Alright, so you have 4 crankbaits there, and only 1's going to give you the best run for your money, 2's going to be average, and then 1's just not going to work right. Alright, so we're going to try to eliminate that 1, and then we're going to go over, in the next part, tuning the average to make it better, and then tuning the better to make it even better. So the first thing we're going to go over is inspection of your crankbaits. Alright, we're going to start with the seams of the crank. Alright, the seams of the crank are going to run over the top and underneath. Alright, so what you want to look for first is you want to make sure you have an even, neat seam. Alright, you want to make sure the finish of that seam is well. Alright, you want to make sure that it's smooth, there's no indentions or anything like that. Do not accept any crankbaits with indents in it, a poor finish across the top, or it looks like they took a sander to it after the finish, or anything like that. Alright, now some of this is stuff that you can inspect before you buy it, but sometimes you just don't notice it until you get back. Okay, during playing around fishing, having fun out there, you can probably run these crankbaits and still have fun and fish. During tournament, I'm not going to run any of these ones. I'm going to weed out. That's what we're doing right now. We're going to weed out the ones that are not going to run well. Alright, that 1 out of the 4. Alright, so we're going to check for the indentions, a messed up seam, a poor finish across the seam, anything like that. This one runs pretty good. Alright, now this one is very, very lumpy across the seam, all the way across the seam. It's just not smooth at all. So this is going to be that 1 out of that 4. Even across the back, it's just not smooth at all. 1 out of that 4, I'm going to toss to the side. Alright, like I said, I'm going to go through, I'm going to inspect every one of these crankbaits for the seams. Alright, make sure it's got a good finish, make sure it's even, doesn't look like it's been hit with a sander after the finish or anything like that. Alright, now we're going to go to the bill, your diving bill. Alright, what you want to inspect in this bill is you want to make sure it's even, that it's not more to one side or the not. Now you got to pay close attention, because on some of your crankbaits the eyes are offset or something like that. So so don't pay attention to the eyes whenever you're trying to make sure that you're even. Look at the base of that body. All right, make sure that that bill is not off to the left or to the right any more than it should. All right. So you just go through, you want to inspect every one of these, and say you have one with a bad bill. It's off to, you can tell it's way off to the left more than it should. That's not going to run right, and neither is this one over here with the dented up body and all that. It's just not smooth. It's not going to run like it's supposed to. Okay, so I'm going to toss them off, never to use them again. Right. Next thing we're going to go to, and we're going to look at our split rings. All right. Want to make sure that our rings swing freely. Alright, if they jam up or lock up at any point anywhere on there, it could be a couple causes. It could be, most of the time it's the hook hanger. Alright, if that hook hanger is causing that split ring to hang up, meaning there's not enough room in there for that split ring, you can take an ice pick and you can slowly work that ice pick through that hook ring and kind of open it back up. Alright, be careful when doing that you're not turning that hook ring. Okay, you don't want to be messing around with that, so don't turn it, but twist that ice pick in back and forth, working it slowly to open it back up so those split rings can set and swing freely. Alright, so check and make sure they all swing freely. Look for any ones that are getting caught up, anything like that. Alright. After that, another thing we're going to check is if you have a rattling bait. Alright, now this is going to be a kind of a hard one to tell. It's going to depend on the color of your bait, if you can really tell this or not. But one of the things you want to do is when they glue these bodies back in half or back together with the rattles in them, occasionally a rattle's going to get glued. Alright, and that's going to affect the balance of your lure. Alright, if a rattle gets hooked glued to the top of the bait and it's not swimming correctly, I mean, it's affecting the balance of your lure. So what you want to do is you want to hold the hooks, palm the hooks in your hand, give it a shake. Now you're palming in your hand to prevent the hooks from swinging around and stabbing into you, and also so you're not hearing the hooks clanging together. You just want to hear the rattle. So you're making sure that it sounds correct. Alright, it doesn't sound odd. Alright, if one sounds kind of odd, which I had one earlier, that one sounds good. Alright, you're listening and making sure they're all moving around in there. But if one doesn't sound right, you want to kind of try to hold it up to the light. Alright, and look, you're going to look for the dark balls inside, the dark rattles inside. And kind of give it a shake. If you see one not moving around freely or anything like that, he's glued up to the top. Alright, that's an imperfection, and we're not accepting any imperfections right now, so he's gone. Okay? So that's it. I mean, that's the inspection portion of our two-part series. The next part's going to be a little bit longer, and it's going to go into a lot more detail. But we're going to actually be swimming some lures and stuff like that to make sure we're getting the correct action and all that. But that's how you inspect your lures. I mean, if you're fishing in a tournament, you want to make sure you have the best of the best out there. Those three baits right there are not going to swim right. They're not going to have the appropriate action. They're not going to do what they're supposed to do. I'm not going to fish those. I'm going to fish with the best of my lineup that I have here. And that's, you eliminate those by inspecting each one. Make sure that you have a smooth, smooth and perfect seam. Alright, do not accept any imperfections, any dents, any paint drippings, anything like that. You want to be fishing with perfect crankbaits out there in the tournaments. Alright, do not accept imperfections. Alright, go through each one, check the seams, check the bills, check the split rings, check the hook hangers. Alright, check them all. Okay, make sure everything's correct. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention with the hook hangers, inside where the hook hangers meet the body, you need to be checking to make sure that plastic molded around it correctly. Alright, you don't, again, the same thing, you don't want more of it to one side of the plastic molded, higher to it on one side than the other. That's an imperfection. Alright, don't accept imperfection. Run true, run your crankbaits true, and catch more fish. Alright, that's it for the first part of this series. If you haven't checked out the Bass College yet, do it now. I'm telling you, that's where all my videos are going to be posted. Also other people's input on the video I'm doing now, and other people's inputs on tuning crankbaits and stuff like that. Check it out, thebasscollege.com. Alright, and if you need anything else to entice you over there a little bit more, hey, we have a free bait program. There's multiple ways to receive free baits at the Bass College. One being the free bait program, which is spending so much money at Tackle Warehouse. Alright, you can check that out on the site and see what all the qualifications are for. But all you got to do is spend money at Tackle Warehouse and you get free baits from us. Alright, another way to receive free baits at the Bass College is just to be an active member of the site. Constantly posting, staying active on the site. And then third, we run contests all the time. There's always a contest going on the site and easy ways to receive free baits. Alright, so check it out, thebasscollege.com. And y'all have a great day.